We begin with a much anticipated update. After more than a decade of planning, construction, and opposition, the Mountain Valley Pipeline officially began service today. WDBJ7's Annabelle Kinney has the details and reactions following the start of operations.
A day mixed of emotions as the Mountain Valley Pipeline officially went online Friday morning. Construction began on the 303-mile pipeline in 2018 and crossed the finish line with nearly an $8 billion price tag. For the company, the victory is well worth it. MVP released a statement saying the pipeline was built under, quote, unprecedented regulatory oversight and followed stringent construction, safety, and environmental protocols. But outspoken community members that live near the pipeline's path say it's still not enough. They say despite the years that have passed, the pipeline was still rushed and that there wasn't enough transparency with the project, and they have concerns over potential environmental impacts. But on Friday, most of those speaking out were doing so in favor of the pipeline. They say the project will provide greater access to an affordable energy and benefit the local economy. A statement released by the Roanoke Regional Chamber of Commerce says economic development is key to the growth of the region, and we welcome the MVP's operation and expect it to play a significant role in supporting the long-term growth and economic success in the region of Virginia's Blue Ridge and beyond. The president of the pipeline's gas supplier also releasing a statement saying, quote, this is an important long-awaited day for our nation and the millions of Americans who now have greater access to an abundant supply of domestic natural gas. In Roanoke, Annabelle Kinney, WDBJ7.